I think investing in a putting coach was where my game really transformed. You can't just have an average day putting because you'll be losing strokes on the field. You have to be a good putter at all times.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of ONEPODLIFE. This week I'm speaking to Hannah Screen, who has had a whirlwind year, going from having no status on the LET Access Series to gaining her full playing rights on the Ladies Tour 2024. In our chat, Hannah tells her story of going to Stanford University, taking a break from golf to come back and not only win 2 tournaments out of 3, and then how she went on to being a nobody to now calling herself an LET player. This is a great chat with Hannah, and it was really cool to hear how she transformed her golf career in the space of just 8 months. So guys, hope you enjoy this episode with Hannah. Hey Hannah, and welcome to ONEPODLIFE. How are you?
I'm good, thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Thanks for coming on. You've just heard my story about playing slow golf today, which has not been fun, but hey ho, it's such is life. But no, how's things for you? Obviously, you've had a pretty successful year this year, which we'll go into more detail in a minute. But if you could sum it up in one sentence, what would it be?
Amazing. There's only one word for me. I've had quite a whirlwind the last month in particular, but it's been amazing. I've enjoyed it so much.
Oh, good stuff. So let's go right back to the beginning. And I think I'm correct in saying, because I read this on your website, that you won your first ever golf event prize when you were 8 years old. So talk me through the early years before that, how you got into golf, and then what was that first event that you won at the age of 8?
Yeah, so I mean, technically, I had plastic golf clubs when I was about 2 years old, I think. I think there's a picture with me with plastic golf clubs, but didn't really hit an actual ball until I was about 5 or 6. My dad would go to the driving range, our local driving range, and I went with him a couple of times. And I always tell the story because apparently I was obsessed with the buttons on the ball dispenser.
Oh, okay.
So I kept asking to go back just because I just thought it was really cool how the balls would come out of the machine. And also at our driving range, we had, I don't know if people remember these, you loaded the balls into this kind of tray and it would have a ramp that would roll the ball out and tee it on the tee perfectly. And you pushed it with your foot, this pedal, and this ball would roll out on this ramp perfectly on the tee. So I also liked that as well, I think. And then eventually my dad got me a little pitching wedge and I started hitting and I really liked it.
Okay.
Then yeah, that's pretty much how I got started and just progressed from there, got a few more clubs and then yeah, I did a few kind of Wee Wonders flag matches where you get 50 shots and you get to go around. At the time it was like a par 3 course. And that competition that you were talking about was a Wee Wonders competition at Redbourne Golf Club. And I was on the par 3 course and I had 50 shots and I got to the 7th fairway. Well, fairway. In my mind, it was like 80 yards or something. So
Okay.
that I still remember it. And I remember playing with Georgia Aboa, who still plays. She was my first ever competitor that I played with. She's still out there on the Access and LET, so it's cool to see her. I saw her just a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the story of kind of how I got started.
Oh, nice. So did your dad get to any decent level, or did he just love playing golf?
He just liked golf. I think he got introduced to golf through business and was part of a few societies. We're playing kind of corporate days. He doesn't play much now, maybe just goes to the driving range with me and my brother. But yeah, at the time, I guess he was playing a few times a month. He got to about 14, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, good stuff. So I guess he can now live his golfing dreams through you, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit. Although he does surprise me. He goes to the range after not hitting for me now, probably about 6 months, and he'll just stripe one, an iron straight down the middle. If it was an iron and putting and chipping game, my dad would be great. It's just he's got this full slice off the tee that he struggles
Right, okay.
with. So maybe one day he'll fix it.
Yeah, we've all got that inside us, don't worry. So obviously you're sitting there with a lovely Oklahoma University t-shirt on.
I am.
So I obviously I know that you went there, but obviously in between going to there and obviously winning that first We Wonders tournament, what was the next sort of progression for you from there?
I was really lucky living in Hertfordshire that at Mill Green Golf Club there was a par three junior club. They had a par three course there. I think they still have it. And I would go there every Saturday for some training, and I met so many friends. And then we started to travel around and do kind of YMG events and We Wonders events. And then I ended up going to the US Kids European Championships when I was 9, and then again when I
Okay.
was 10. That was so fun. Still know most of the girls that I was playing with, even back then, which is, yeah, over 12 years ago. And I think that really just kind of gave me the bug for it. I was enjoying it so much. I look forward to Saturdays and just being with my friends, and we had such good fun competitions, and we would play pranks. I remember one weekend the coach Ian Parker he was trying to get everyone basically, and he kept replacing our golf balls with the ones that exploded or the ones with the
Oh, okay.
streamers, and it was just a lot of fun. And then after that, kind of got picked up by Hertfordshire County, and they helped me develop a lot. Played for the girls team and the women's team, which was great. I was in the women's team at quite a young age. I think it made me mature massively. I was playing against grown women at the age of 13, 14.
Okay.
I had to grow up quite quickly, especially traveling with people that were quite a lot older than me as well.
Yep.
That definitely helped my golf game a lot doing that. And then England regional squad kind of came around, and actually I trained at Brocket Hall
Oh,
where
okay.
you were playing earlier today. So kind of full circle, yeah. Did a bit of
No, good.
training, and then yeah, that's kind of when England Golf, I guess, spotted me in their regional squad, and I was lucky enough to get selected to play for them when I was 16, which was just so cool at the time. It was amazing. I remember I had Drake tickets, who's like one of my favorite artists,
Yep.
the same weekend. And there was one, I was so determined to see him. I absolutely love Drake. And then I got the call up, and
Oh.
I was like, do you know, out of everything, this is the one excuse where I can miss Drake. This is better.
Have you seen Drake since?
No,
Do you, want- do, you, want- do, you,
I'm
want-
destined to see him.
do you want some bad news?
Oh no, what's the
I,
bad
I,
news?
I think I went to that concert. Was it at the O2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went. I saw him at the O2.
Oh
Sorry,
no,
and
for
it was
God's
good.
sake.
I apologize.
Oh, one day, one
One day,
day I'll go and see him.
definitely. What was I going to ask you? So during this time as well, was you a member of a golf club?
Yeah, sorry, that's like a massive
That's
part
all
I
right.
skipped over.
That's all right.
I was a member of Berkhamsted Golf Club. Famously has no bunkers,
Yeah.
kind of a heathland narrow course. And I guess I didn't realise it at the time, but when I would play there at the weekends with the business ladies, I guess it was gearing me up for really tight golf courses. And whilst I was a junior, the best part of my game was off the tee. And I do think it was because I was staring at trees the whole time and had to avoid them.
Yep.
Um, yeah, so it was a good course to grow up on in that respect.
No, definitely.
Yeah, and then of course as you get kind of further into the England team from 16 to 18, there's so much travel, and all the major championships are pretty much all of them on links courses.
Hmm.
So that's a different type of golf altogether, and I had so much fun those 2 years and learned so much from the coaching that I got. It was great, and then also great transition to then jump into the women's squad, and then college, of course, as well.
So all that England stuff came before you obviously went off to university. Is that right? So
Yeah,
I've got written down here. I think you had like obviously this might have been stretched over a bit more period, but you had 35 team caps. You won roughly 29 individual paired wins, and you did 9 R&A. You were part of 9 R&A teams as well. Obviously, like you said, all the travel that really helped you sort of understand, I guess, what being a professional is like, because obviously you're traveling around quite a bit. obviously having to grow up a little bit pretty quick than what you would like to, I guess, as a 13, 14-year-old. But like, obviously during that time, could you sort of pinpoint any real sort of advice that you were getting from these people to get you to a higher level?
I think definitely when I was in the girls' squad under 18, it was how to practice properly. That sounds really obvious and quite simple, but just making sure that every time you're going out, you're doing some quality practice and structuring it. And it doesn't mean that, even though England Golf, they love you writing stuff down, but as long as, even if you don't have time for that, as long as you have a goal, just I know that I want to feel like I've struck the ball really well 5 times out of 50 balls. It can be as simple as that or as little as that, but just having a goal for everything that you're doing. And then also just I learned a lot, especially when I went into the women's squad. The head coach, Steve Robinson, Robbo, he's massively into planning and writing stuff down, and I learned so much about course planning and just taking the right shot for the situation, not trying to take too much on and playing to your strengths. That was a massive, massive learning curve for me, and I think it saved me so many shots on these really hard courses when, you know, you're at Royal County Down and the wind's blowing 40 miles an hour off the sea and you feel like you can't hear because the wind is so loud.
Yep.
Just making sure you have a plan and sticking to it. I think that was, yeah, big learning curve for me.
No, I like it. So, what year did you go to Oklahoma? Can't remember.
Well, so initially, I actually got recruited to the University of Houston in
Okay.
Texas. So I moved out there in 2018. I found the recruitment process quite challenging, as a lot of international golfers do. It's such an alien world if you haven't spent much time out in America, which I hadn't. I'd never been before.
Okay.
I was lucky my dad had been before, so knew a little bit, but you're just kind of going off hearsay, and you have all these college coaches throwing all these amazing things at you and telling you what they're going to do for you, and it can be very overwhelming. And I ended up committing to go to Houston and then went out there, which was obviously a massive change for me because Houston is a lot further south than
Yep.
England. And it's when I got there in the August, it was probably touching 36, 37 degrees with like 90% humidity. So that was definitely a tough change in my
Yep.
first week. So I stayed there for my first year and then another semester, and then decided to transfer to Oklahoma at the start of 2020.
Okay. And what was the reason for the transfer?
There was a lot of reasons at the time. I think a combination of possibly not seeing eye to eye with my coach, if I'm being completely honest. And
Yep.
I was playing quite well and I was progressing quite quickly. And I wanted to play against the top golfers, and the conference that I was in, we weren't necessarily doing that.
Okay.
And I found, I guess, the scheduling in our program was really tough. We practiced over an hour away from our campus, so I just found myself kind of racing around all the time, and everything just got a bit low on quality. Like my academics got a bit low. Even like my health and my fitness and my physical well-being, I was just exhausted all the time. And then my golf practice wasn't great quality because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought maybe I want to change from the city. I think I wanted a change to go to a college town, just to see what it was like. And I'm really glad I made the move. It was really scary at the time, and probably the first time in my life where that was the first time in my life I'd ever kind of felt stuck. I came home and just, I was completely stuck. I was so lucky I had my family around me. I was thinking all sorts. I had offers from Hawaii. I was thinking, oh, just go and play golf in Hawaii and get my degree and see what it's like. But eventually I got out of my little head funk and said, no, I want to give it another go. Make sure my golf is a priority and I'm comfortable getting my degree. So decided to move.
No, that's good. I think going back to what you said, obviously you noticed all these things were not quite aligned as to what you wanted them to be, and I think that's quite a mature thing to realize, and then obviously to action it as well. And I'm guessing all that time when you were younger, 13, 14, obviously you matured quickly. You obviously in the England golf days, you understood what should be done, how should things, obviously you like to do things, how you like to train, how you're structured and all that type of stuff. So I guess noticing that pretty quick in, obviously I don't know it was a year, but obviously you got to give it some time to bed in and see what it's like. But doing that then is a very mature sort of decision. And at the right time, obviously it's worked out well because you did obviously it's worked out to be obviously you went to Oklahoma, and I believe obviously this is all you got your 3-time All-American honors as well, and sort of
Yeah.
your golf sort of kind of progressed a little bit. One question I've got: what is the OU golf record holder?
The OU record golf holder, so I have the lowest scoring average over a season, basically. I can't remember the
Okay.
exact one. I think it was like 70.9 or 71 dead or something like that. So there was me and another girl on the team my junior year, and we were kind of back and forth, and it just depended on the week really
Yep.
who was going to keep it steady enough. But yeah, I mean, my move to Oklahoma, I mean, it's nice of you to say it was a mature decision. But I mean, at the time, I think I did, if I'm honest, I did kind of panic and throw my toys out the pram. And I was like, I know deep down something's not right, but it's really hard in those situations for it to not snowball and turn into a big mess. And I think it does affect you. It's almost like a bit like a breakup really at the time. You're leaving your friends and someone that you thought that you kind of trusted at the time, when the coach recruits you. And
Yep.
definitely took me a while to get over that. As I said, like my family was really great in helping me get over that. But yeah, when I moved to Oklahoma, coach has helped me massively just kind of get back on my feet and really just ask me like, what do I want to do, and like what are my main goals for the next 2 years in college, which was so great to have them there.
That's good. Of fresh air, I guess, for you
Yeah.
to hear those words, especially coming from you. Think if you had gone to Hawaii, although it would have been lovely, that would not have been a very mature decision. So I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, a
But
bit irrational, I think.
have
Very
you got out there to play
irrational.
golf yet, or
I haven't, no.
there you go.
It
Put
is
that on the
definitely
bucket.
on the bucket list.
Yeah, exactly. Put it on there.
Yeah.
Okay. I also noticed that while you was at university, you boasted a 40% top 10 finishes. So how many tournaments was that based on? Because that seems like a very high number.
Let me see. Probably just under like 100 starts, maybe.
Okay.
Um, yeah, roughly, I think just under 100 starts. I was I was just very ploddy. I've always been what I say, a ploddy golfer.
Mhm.
Consistent is probably the
Yep.
right word to use.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Never too much wrong. I guess as I've grown up a little bit and the standards got higher, that's not necessarily the case anymore. You do have your off days, but yeah, I was really pleased with my performance in college. Definitely made me understand the importance of like how every aspect in life goes into golf. If I'm stressed about schoolwork and I have to travel to a tournament and I'm missing lectures, thinking about it, if I'm not organized and I've got my notes to do my work, then yeah, I'm probably not going to play my best because I'm going to be distracted.
Yep.
And that's definitely the part about America that like I think makes everyone grow up massively and just become so self-aware. I'm so grateful that I had that experience.
Good.
As you say, like yeah, definitely helped me. But no, obviously, especially my senior year, I was really happy to just kind of finish on a high. I had a nice senior finish, which was
Okay.
good.
No, good stuff. Now, before you went off to Oklahoma, I was trying to work out the dates when you went because obviously in 2016, you won both the Scottish Junior. You were the Scottish Junior champion and the Telegraph Junior champion in the same year. So, what sort of tournaments were they, and where were they held? And obviously, winning those, was that a nice sort of stepping stone again to the next level that you were going to when it comes to university?
Yeah, it was again a bit of a shocking year actually. I feel like I'm all over the place, but at the beginning of that year, I actually, before I got selected for England, I
Yeah.
didn't know if I wanted to pursue golf as seriously as I had before. I was
Okay.
doing lots of other sports. I was about to do my GCSEs. And you know what teenagers like? We're just like, oh my God, there's like loads of other stuff in life that I'm like so distracted about. So I decided to take a couple months out, and then I stupidly tore the ligaments in my ankle
Okay.
playing football with my friends, and was on crutches for 8 weeks in a boot. And I missed sport so much, and I missed golf the most completely. And that was in kind of May time, I think. So all the summer tournaments were coming up, and my parents were like, oh, do you want to play in them? And I said, yeah, like, why not? I'll just see how I get on. And
Yeah.
I ended up winning in Scotland, coming like top 5 in another one, and then a few months later ended up winning the Junior Telegraph, which it
Okay.
was just such a crazy time. And I honestly think I put it down to being so relaxed and having no expectations
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
It was a funny time.
Fast forward a few years, 2022. Obviously, for the year you turned pro. So, did you play the English Women's Under 25 Open before you turned pro, or was you pro when you won that tournament?
So that's an amateur event, so I was still an amateur. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but again, at the time, I did not want to turn professional. I'd made my
Okay.
mind up. I'd had a good senior season, and I was just excited to try something new and try working.
Yeah.
Coming out of college is really tense. You play a lot of golf. It's great, but I think I just needed a few months to figure out where my feet were. But in my mind, I took that as, oh, well, like, I don't want to be a pro. I'll just
Okay.
find a job and play for fun. Again, played for fun and ended up,
Yeah.
there's a theme here.
There
Like,
is a theme.
played for fun, enjoyed it. And yeah, I mean, that week, I literally got back from America 2 days before my practice round and just went and played at Woburn. One of my best friends, Megan Dennis, she's a member there. So I played there quite a lot, which was nice. Um, and yeah, ended up winning that, which was cool. And then got a call to be in the home internationals team for England again for the women.
Yep.
And I was a bit unsure, and then I went, "Oh, I'll just go. It's in Ireland. It's at Ballyliffin, sorry." And it was amazing. And even after that, I didn't really know if I wanted to be a pro. And I was working behind the bar at my golf club, and these old ladies came up to me and they were super stern with me, and they were kind of saying, what the hell are you doing behind the bar? Why are you
Yep.
not playing golf? Like, what are you doing, basically? And they really got to me. I don't know why, like why they did. And then even people around me, it was like the constant asking of, well, what are you doing? Why are you not even
Hmm.
trying? Just give it a go. You'll regret it forever.
Yep.
And I just hated the thought of having any regret when I was older. I was like, oh, okay, right. We'll go back. I do kind of miss competing. And then I turned pro just on a whim. I was like, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously he's working behind the bar, but what was did you have a job that you wanted to do? Or was it just like you said, you just wanted a couple of months off just to see where you were? Or did you have a goal in mind to actually do something else outside of golf?
Yeah, so I studied journalism and communication at university.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed my degree. So I did want to go kind of into the journalism route, possibly TV production on the sports side, and eventually broadcasting. I think everyone wants to do that. I think it'd be such a
Yep.
cool job.
Yep.
And yeah, I was kind of looking around. Obviously, when you're a new graduate, the job market is so hard to get into anyway. I was
Yep.
picking up a bit of experience here and there writing. So that was fun. But yeah, I think a lot of people in their 20s find it, whether you play sport or have done whatever, they just feel a bit lost. You just kind of are standing there like, oh, I have so many years and I don't want to waste them. And you almost are thinking about what you should do so much, you just end up being quite static.
Hmm.
Um, I guess my advice for if people do feel like that is just do something. It doesn't actually matter what you're doing, because even whether it's working behind the bar or working for someone else or volunteering or doing an internship, you will be learning something and you'll be moving forward. that's something I would probably tell myself if I could talk to myself last summer. Again, just start something, do something.
Yep.
Um,
But you
and
did
for
do
me,
something.
that I did, yeah, I did. For me, that was like, oh, for God's sake, let's turn pro, let's do it.
Yep. Well, I think obviously you did that in 2022. Obviously this year, I believe, was your first full season on the LET Access series. So obviously that started obviously beginning of the year, well, sort of March, April time, doesn't it really? What was you doing before that, before you started playing on the LET Access series?
So I was working a bit actually in the pro shop. I moved from the bar to the pro shop at Berkhamsted
Hmm.
Golf Club, and um, so last year I had all intentions to go to Q school, and for the first time ever, the Ladies European Tour Q school got oversubscribed, and
Okay.
because I put my name down as professional on the entry form. I
Hmm.
mean, I had like nothing to my name, no points, no nothing. So I was at the bottom of the list and actually didn't get in, which was really disappointing at the time, considering I felt like I'd achieved quite a lot in my amateur career.
Hmm.
It was, I can't tell you how frustrating it was. And the people who know me would say the same. I was not in a good place for a couple of
Yeah.
months. I just thought, oh, I've made this decision, and I just kind of had it thrown in my face a bit. But there
Yeah.
was hope because the access, you can eventually get into things and you can get invites. So I actually started the year with no status. And I'm so thankful that I like writing and I'm a bit bold in my personality because
Okay.
I was emailing these tournament directors and being so pushy, like, please give me an invite. Just let me play. Just let me tee it up. I'll do everything. I'll do a kids clinic. I'll do every pro-am you want me to. Just please let me tee it up. And
Yeah.
eventually,
They gave in.
someone did. This nice man for the Swiss event on the Lettas gave me an invite, and then another one to France 2 weeks after that. And yeah, that was kind of the start, really. But before that, I was literally just working in a pro shop and practicing.
Okay. So you get those couple of invites. Obviously, you play on your sort of first inaugural of season, but obviously not a full season, but you're still playing. Did you then get into Q school for that year, or did you have to go through, or did you get some status on the LET access?
So there wasn't another Q school. So Q school's every December. So this is like
Yep.
when I got the invites, this is like April time of this year. So actually
Okay.
really quite recent. So how it works is about a third of the way through the season, there's a re-rank on the
Okay.
Lettas, and depending on how many points you have, you kind of get reshuffled, and then you get put in kind of category order. So I
Okay.
was when I did get the call up and the invites, I was just ready to go. And I think that really helped me. Again, went into it like, look, this is your first event. You've got a last minute invite. Just go and enjoy it. Have low expectations. It's your first big women's pro event.
Mhm.
And I ended up playing quite well in my first three. Then there was the re rank. So I got re ranked with full status, which was
Oh,
so
nice.
great. Because I had then a schedule to plan for, and everything just became a bit more clear and consistent.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
which was really nice.
yeah, you're now where you wanted to be. You want to be a full-time professional golfer, and now that chance is now here, and I think it's fair to say you grabbed it with both hands, because you end up
Yeah,
playing, what was it, 13 tournaments this year, four top 10 finishes, and you even got a little win in there at the Calatanyan. You can
yeah,
probably pronounce it better than what I can.
yeah.
Ladies Open over in Spain. So, what was that feeling like when you first got? Well, obviously, two questions actually. When did you realise that you actually got a really good chance of winning the tournament, and then what did it feel like when you actually did win that tournament?
I think I knew in the back of my mind, of course, after so the first day I think I was second place, and then after the second day I was leading. And of course, how it is, everyone's messaging you, they're messaging you out of good heart, saying,
Yep.
just stay calm, you'll be fine tomorrow. But it's like, well, I've just had 20 people tell me the same thing. So I'm not
Yep.
exactly that calm. But I really just distracted myself. I have a part-time job that I was doing remotely at the
Okay.
time. And that helped me massively. I was staying with some of my best friends. We watch silly films, and then the next day, on the final day, the conditions were really hard. And I kind of, before I went out, I said, if it happens today, amazing, but I'm still really happy with how I've played this week, even if I don't do it. I'm happy with how I've played this season. I kind of tried to rationalize it and say, look, you didn't have any status at the beginning of the year. You're not even through your first year as a pro. Just like be content with what you've done so far, and the rest will just take care of itself. And then I knew the girl I was playing with, I knew we were really like neck and neck. Like I was kind of counting the scores. I can't really help it. I can't block it out. I always count the scores. I knew we were neck and neck, and our last 4 holes, we both missed, I think, 2 to 3 putts each inside 10 feet for birdie.
Okay.
Which could have been a massive sway, and then we ended up going into a playoff. It was a 2-hole playoff, oddly on a par 3, which threw me a little bit. It was quite a tough par 3. No, yeah, it was very odd. The ninth was a par 3, and I hit a good club in the morning, and I wasn't really attacking the flag. I just thought anywhere on the green is fine because high pressure situation. And then on our second playoff hole, we both halved the first hole, and on the second hole, she stuck it in the bunker, and I went a bit long, and then she didn't hit a bunker shot very close, and I just chipped it close. And I think until I was like lining up my whatever it was 2-foot par, I was like, oh my god, like I'm about to win. It like finally settled in. I couldn't like relax. It was such a cool feeling to do it so late in the season as well. Massive bonus.
Yeah, and like you said, obviously you had no status at the start of the year. You were bullying people to get starts.
Yeah, basically bullying.
and then what, within, I don't know, what, 6, 7, 8 months, you've now got a chance to win your first ever LET Access tournament, which is fantastic. I'd probably argue that the end of the season finale event, which I would probably say is probably a better result for you, because obviously you finished second there, but that did mean that you got into the top 5 of the Order of Merit, which on the LET Access then means that you secure your LET card. So again, start of the year, no status whatsoever. End of the year, you're now going to be playing on the LET for real. I mean, like you said, it was a bit of a whirlwind year for you. Would you say that was a better success than the win, or would you rank them sort of neck and neck?
I mean, I think you're right. I almost think the second week, of course, the win was amazing, and like you get the sense of relief that you've proven to yourself that you can win when you're out there. But the second week, almost I felt way more pressure than the week before, because I jumped from 11th to 6th on the rankings after my win, and then we had 1 week left, and we were all staying out in Spain for the 2 weeks. And again, like the amount of support I was getting, I just felt like more eyes were on me. Like, am I going to hold it together? Can I do it a second week in a row to stay inside the top 6? And I think that's my like proudest point of the year, is just going out there. I think it was a great scoring week for a lot of girls. First round I shot 5 under, and then I shot 3 under, I think, and was leading after 2 rounds. So I'm so proud of myself that I managed to dig that out. And I could, even though I wanted to win, of course, which I really tried my hardest to, it didn't put as much pressure on the final round, because the 2 girls below me on the ranking unfortunately missed the cut. So yeah, it was a little bit of a breather. But I mean, to be honest, on that day, like I just got beat. The girl that won, she played great. I was playing with her. She played great. I didn't really hold anything, and that's going to happen, isn't it? It's golf. Yeah, but it was a great day. I almost didn't believe it until the tour director said it to me, Anna. People were calling me like my boyfriend and my dad, and I think I just let it all out. I was pretty emotional on the phone to them. And I wasn't really even upset that I'd, come second. I was just more emotional, like, I'm so tense, I just want someone to tell me now. Just tell me if it's real, or tell me if it's not. And they were going, what are you talking about? We've already added it up. You've done it. And I was like, no, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
No, I love it because also I believe Gemma Clue's also got in. She's been on the podcast before as well, which has been nice. So yeah, it was good to see her get through, and obviously see yourself obviously with that whirlwind 2 weeks of making it through as well. So congratulations on
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
What's the prep looking like for the next season? When does the season start for you?
I think roughly it will start in February. They haven't sent out an official schedule yet, but I'm pretty sure it will start kind of early February time, which
Okay.
is so exciting. Gives me a few months to get prepped.
Yep.
I guess it's just a different level now. Like I'm just exploring. I mean, everything from I'm going back to all my coaches and having a reset. That's something that I'll do pretty much every winter.
Yep.
I'm actually seeing my passing coach tomorrow, which would be so great. And coming up with a plan for my swing with my swing coach, getting back in the gym. I'm definitely struggling today. I am so sore because you don't really work out when you're on the road, and
No.
I'm feeling it at the moment. But even things like management and sponsorship, it's just this
Yep.
whole another level now, which is something I'm trying to sort out at the moment. But it's all
Yep.
part of it, and it's
Yeah,
so
definitely.
exciting.
So I
So
know that world in
exciting.
I know that world inside out. So I work for Rocket Yard Sports. We do all sports sponsorship management and marketing management. So yeah, I feel your pain on that one. It's not easy.
Yeah.
If you need any help, just give me a shout. I'll see
Thank
what I
you.
can do.
Thank you.
But yeah, so obviously you got 3 months to get yourself ready. Will you be going to do some sort of warm weather training or anything, or are you just going to try and stay in the UK?
Yeah, I'm hoping to possibly go out to Dubai, which is very generic. I feel
Of
like
course.
every English golfer and whoever goes out to Dubai, don't they?
Yep.
It's like the place. I feel like it used to be La Manga or somewhere like that. But no, now it's Dubai. So I've
Yep.
never been there, and I'm really excited. And my birthday's in January, so I'm trying
Oh,
to,
nice.
get a joint trip,
Yep.
birthday trip and training trip. So that'll be really great. I know a couple of people already going out there. I'm
Good.
sure we'll have some good games.
No,
Yeah, it'll
definitely
be
experience.
good.
Get some night golf out when you're in there as well. It was I did it.
Yes.
I did it at the Emirates course. I played 9 holes at the Faldo at night. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I need to do that. It looks so fun.
Yeah. But get your wallet out. It's not very cheap.
Oh, I know.
But no. But Hannah, I think that's a really good wrap up of obviously your whirlwind year this year. And I said congratulations again for getting your LET card. I'm looking forward to seeing you get out there in February and see what
Thank
you can
you.
do. No, I'm not. This is not the end. Obviously, you've got a very long way to go yet, but I'm sure you'll get there pretty quickly. So it's all good.
Thank you.
So it's going to ask you a few quick questions. So when you won in Spain, how did you celebrate?
We actually had a players' party that night. I happened to win on the day that the players' party was being held because we were in Spain for 2 weeks. They decided to do something in the middle, and it was an open bar. And of course, us athletes, we don't really drink in the middle of the season, so I'm pretty sure
No.
everyone's tolerance was rock bottom, very
Yep.
poor. And yeah, I had some glasses of cava. It was funny. And it was so nice just being there with all like the English girls that I travel with, and we had such a laugh. It was really funny.
No, good. I'm glad you actually got to celebrate because normally a lot of people I've spoken to, I said, "What did you do when you celebrate?" Nothing. Just went back to work because, oh, right, cool.
Yeah.
It's
I
good.
was very lucky, yeah.
No, good stuff. What's the one thing you must do before you play a round of golf?
I guess something a
Almost,
bit superstitious, do you
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Mm, I
If you
I
have one,
have
obviously.
to hole. I have to hole 3 4 footers like in a row, and they can't be like lipping on the edge. They have to be dead center. Otherwise, I physically can't leave the passing green. That's, I
Okay.
guess, my little superstitious thing.
And is that how many times has that happened where you had to stay there for? Well, tell me how long you stayed there for. What's the longest?
Definitely, I've been there for like an extra 5 minutes, like power walking over to the tee instead of like a nice little stroll. Yeah, that's definitely happened a couple of times.
Good stuff. Last quick little question is who would be in your dream four ball? Now, these don't have to be professional golfers. They can be anybody from the walk of life. But who would you want to be in your four ball? Obviously, include yourself. So you've got three people to
Mm.
pick.
myself, probably Ricky Fowler, just because I loved him a lot when I was younger.
Okay.
Who else? I think, yeah, someone like Arnold Palmer, like when he was in his prime, just to see how they would hit the ball.
Yep.
Even with maybe a couple of just older bits of equipment. I think that would be really cool. And then I don't know, maybe someone quite entertaining, someone funny. I'm trying to think
Would you
who.
put Drake in there?
I mean, oh yeah, if
There
Drake
you
could
go.
play golf,
Well, he does play a little bit of golf, I
that's
think. There you go.
does he?
I think he does.
Perfect.
There
That's
you
a
go. So
perfect end to the four ball. I
so
didn't even
Ricky
think of that.
Fowler, Arnold. That's why I'm here. Arnold Palmer and Drake. There you go. Perfect.
What a four ball.
You can go to bed dreaming about that now.
Yeah.
Right. So to end our little chat, basically, I asked this to everybody. It's the reason why I started doing the podcast, to get guidance from you guys who are doing it day in, day out and are playing professional golf, because one day I want to try and play it if I could possibly can. So what would your top 3 tips be for a golfer who wants to play professional golf? So give us the tip, and then obviously go into a bit more detail as to why you think that's important.
I think my number one tip would be to prioritize putting. And I don't just mean practicing it. I think investing in a putting coach was where my game really transformed. And it's something I've learned over this year, and I've talked about it with other people, is you can't just have an average day putting, because you will be losing strokes on the field. You have to be a good putter at all times, and then on your good days you have to be a great, incredible putter. Probably, yeah, investing in your putting, and that doesn't mean purchasing the most expensive putter. Just finding out what you're comfortable with and what works for you and what you feel you could do over and over and over again.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely investing in your putting. Number 2, something that I've again invested in massively this year, and really just taking it seriously, is my mental game. Figuring out how my brain works, because there's lots of mental advice out there, and all these strategies, but people's brains work in different ways. That's what I've learned this year. Something that works for me might not work for another person.
Yep.
So if you can really figure out, when I am frustrated, what do I do? Like, what are my tendencies? What would make me feel better? And then I've just learned, like, be a bit kinder to myself on the course, especially when you are trying to get to that pro level. You have to be kind to yourself. You're like such a small percentage of like the best golfers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta give yourself a break a couple of times, which is really
Yep.
hard, because I feel like a lot of golfers are perfectionists.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
No.
And
the last one?
I want to be professional. I guess when you do get there and you start traveling a lot, I was lucky enough, I traveled a lot from quite a young age, so I got used to it. You have to be quite fluid. You have to be prepared for anything. Some of the girls joke with me, Georgina Blackman, she always jokes with me that I have everything in my bag for whatever I could ever need, any emergency. Not saying you have to do that, but
Yep.
you are going to have situations where you lose your luggage or your club snaps. I had a club snap on me this year. It was the first time and it was horrible, but you just have to, I guess, kick into emergency mode and just find what you can and deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, almost like what am I trying to say? Like, be mentally prepared for anything, so that if something bad does happen, it's not going to throw you off.
Yep.
You can just focus on your golf.
I like that. So that's putting, mental game, and traveling. So the question I've got for you was, what was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you, with the mental game. So have you been doing that yourself, or have you started to see like a mental performance coach?
I did start to see someone this year. I had 2 very bad experiences. Probably one of the worst times I've ever seen myself. It was one of my first pro events. I was playing a Rose Ladies series at West Lancs. and I didn't even recognize myself. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself. It was one of my first pro events, and the weather was really tough. And yeah, I just didn't recognize myself. And it was kind of a moment like, wow, there's nothing wrong with your golf game. Or how you hit the ball. There's just a lot wrong upstairs that you probably need to get a bit of hold on. Not a lot wrong, just things that are costing me now. When you're 10 pro, they cost you money and they cost you ranking points. So I did start to see someone, and again, you can, I guess, try out a few psychologists, whatever works for you. The person that I started seeing was extremely straightforward with me, which is what I needed. He sat me down and I told him the story about Q-score, and he just went, right, are we ready to get over that or what? That's genuinely what he said to me. And I went, wow, I needed to hear that. Because everyone around me had been like, oh, it's so unfair and you'll eventually play and boo this, boo that. But he just was so straight up with me, and it was like a weight off my shoulders, and I could get on and work hard after that. Yeah, it was good.
Okay, I guess it's a bit like what you say when obviously when you had that chance in Spain when you was about to win, everyone was messaging you saying, oh, like, just calm, take it easy, you'll be all right, blah blah blah. Like you said, it comes from a good place, and I guess these people were saying to you about the Q-score stuff, like you said, all boohoo stuff, and they're trying to make you feel better. But again, although it comes from a kind place, it can also be quite damaging. So like you said, hearing it straight from someone obviously has done you a world of good, and I think that's great. Cool. The putting one, I'm actually looking. I don't know, for some reason I'm interested in aim point, so I might look into aim point. I don't want to go full aim point. I just want sort of a basic understanding of how it works. So I'm definitely going to invest into that over the winter, just so I can get an understanding of what it's like. So it's good to know that obviously you think that's quite a priority, and something I've started to think about. Although my handle is obviously one putt life, I don't always one putt. I'd love to. Although I did start with 2 1-putts today, so
there you go.
Yeah, so I can't moan too much.
Aim point is definitely interesting, and if you just like if you like processes and learning, it's such a cool thing to learn, just to go there and learn from the guys. I love aim point inside 6 foot when you're really stuck with a break. I highly recommend it if you don't want to go like full aim point, because that's quite a lot. Inside 6 foot sometimes good.
Okay, because I felt like anything inside like 6 to 10 foot, it would become quite handy. Outside of that, personally, I don't think it's going to work. But I'll give it a go, see what I think.
See what happens.
Exactly. Hannah, thank you very much for coming on and telling your story, and again, wish you the best of luck from February when you get out there on the LET, and you're going to smash it, so enjoy.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on and chatting.
You're welcome.